Hi everyone, this is Fleeks Talk, and I am Mia. So, I've done enough of like the best of, or the top of, or my favorites. So this is what I'm going to do on this one. Just like I said yesterday, today's show is going to be the worst actresses of the 80s. So let me do a little history of the Golden Raspberries, or the Razzies. This is what they look like. This is what the Golden Razzies look like. Yeah. See, the raspberry is actually like the size of a golf ball on that little reel. And the reason why it's called a raspberry, it's like the irrelevant of like just blowing a raspberry. It's just because the Razzies is the worst in film. Simple as that. And so this is how they come about. I think I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Okay. This is how they come about. Okay, this is how they vote on the Razzies. It's approximately 650 journalists, cinema fans, and professionals from the film industry. And they're hailed from about 45 U.S. states and 19 other countries. So, because I was all kind of wondering about that. Like, how did they come up with that? Who they vote? What? So that's how it is. It first aired on March 31st of 1981. So before the Razzies, there were another award given out. It was just named the Harvard Lampoon's Worst of. But I kind of like the Golden Raspberries of the Razzies better. It's just easier to say than Harvard Lampoon's. But that's pretty much the kind of like the history a little bit of the Razzies. Sometimes they add or subtract a category on a yearly basis, so it's not like the Oscars. I mean, they have like the worst actor, worst actress, and worst supporting, the actors, actress, and worst film and stuff like that. I think they have every year, but there's some categories. Just depends on the current events. Just like I think they had the worst like tabloid type incident award, and that was given to that time when Tom Cruise was also happy and jumping on Oprah's couch because he was in love with Katie Holmes. That won the worst like tabloid type award, Razzie. So it's they retired some categories, they add categories, they even brought back a category for 1 year that they retired, I guess because it was just a bad song and they just had to bring it back. I don't know. So it's one of those type awards that they'll add, subtract, whatever. But anyway, this show is the worst actresses of the 1980s. I've seen 3 of them. Haven't heard of one person. So... But 1980 was Brooke Shield in The Blue Lagoon. I've seen that. But there was a tie in 1981. Bo Derek for Tarzan the Ape Man, and Faye Dunaway for Mommy Dearest. I thought Faye Dunaway did good as Joan Crawford. She kind of freaked me out. But whatever. And actually, Mommy Dearest ended up being like the worst film of the 1980s. Getting that Razzie being the worst film of the decade. Okay. I could think of a few other films that could have taken it, but whatever. I'm not part of the 650 journalists. But I am a cinema fan, so I should be able to at least but whatever. They should have like the worst of People's Choice Awards. 1982 is Butterfly from Butterfly. Pia Zadora. Never heard of her. She ended up winning the worst of in 83 as well for The Lonely Lady. Pia Zadora. Never heard of her. In 84 was Bo Derek in Bolero. I didn't see that one. 1985, for like 3 movies, I think, or 2. Linda Blair in Night Patrol, Savage Island, Savage Streets. I guess that Savage may be one movie. I don't know. I didn't write it down for me to understand. The next 2 years in 86 and 87 is the same person for 2 different movies, obviously. But 86 in Shanghai Surprise is Madonna. And 87 is Madonna for Who's That Girl. And just kind of looking at the website of the Golden Raspberries, Madonna was awarded the worst actress of the century. So the 20th century, she's the worst actress. Yeah, I guess you should stick to singing. And number 9, for 1988, Liza Minnelli for Author 2 and Rent-A-Cop. I think I've seen Author 2. That was iffy. I know I've seen the first one. I may have seen the second one, but I've never seen Rent-A-Cop. And then Heather Locklear for 1989 for Return of the Swamp Thing. And being the worst actress for the whole decade of the 80s, ended up being Bo Derek. So, worst of. Did I say worst of? The worst of, not best, worst. So yeah, the worst actress of the decade, Bo Derek. Worst of the century, Madonna. Worst movie of the 80s, the decade 80s, Mommy Dearest. Yeah. You also see the nominees too. You know, there's like 5 nominees, and okay. So those are the raspberries. Tomorrow, I'm going to do another worst of. It's going to be the worst actors of the 80s, and then I'm going to take a break for 2 days of the worst of, and then I'll be back doing like the worst of, doing like the worst films of the 80s, and some worst Disney films, and the worst Disney animated films coming up. So we're going to do some worst of instead of the best of or top of or my favorites. So let's just, from, you know, I got all that information from this book right here, as well as online information as well. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.